Mike Dominguez has left the room for a moment, but he's been coming to TAG meetings and getting involved for some time now, working with Ed Heimlich, which I didn't realize, which I'm really glad to hear, who's been working on things, kind of working on oath of affiliation, or excuse me, the oath of office and government impunity, and how these people are immune from prosecution just because of the title that they have. And it really is quite unacceptable to have people that are voted to represent us and then we can't hold them accountable, particularly when they commit crimes. And nobody should be above the law, as we all know, particularly the people that we elect to represent us. So Mike Dominguez and Ed Heimlich, I'll let you guys take over and we'll pull up your website.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you for having us. We'll keep it pretty short since it's getting to the end of the night. My name is Mike Dominguez, and this is Ed Heimlich, to the right of me, and also Jon, who's part of our group, kind of a brain trust, if you will. We're here to launch Honorquest, and Honorquest is all about the oath of office. And in doing so, I think I have a little anecdote for us.
Well, I don't know if any of you have been to any of the Tribune events, but they will interview our elected officials. Evan Smith of the Texas Tribune, the editor. I went to one of their events and had two long-serving senators. Each had been serving us for well over 10 years, and every legislative session begins with a swearing-in ceremony where our elected officials take their oath of office. And when it came to the question and answers period, I asked them to recite their oath. And they both were like just blank face. They couldn't remember their oath. And then there was one Democrat, one Republican, the one started to talk as if the oath was something lengthy. And I interrupted and said, it's very short. It simply says that you will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. How could you forget that? And so then also I came aware through a lawsuit this idea that I was shocked when I first encountered it, what they call sovereign immunity. They say the government's above the law. The government cannot be sued, even if the government admits it's wrong, even if the government admits that it violated our constitutional protections and various other laws, and that your property was taken, damaged, destroyed, your life torn asunder. The government can't be sued. So why do we even bother to have laws? Constitution. So this is becoming established now in our judiciary and in our legislative laws, which is really absurd because here our legislature is passing laws that are supposedly protect us from government overreach, and then at the same time saying that, but these laws are just suggestions for those of you employed in the executive and judiciary. If you don't want to follow them, you don't have to. So that's the idea behind Honorquest, is to remind them of their oath, make the public more aware of their oath, and see that they actually honor their oath. Mike, how are we going to go about this?
Well, there's a couple of ways. Just educational campaign, making sure that everyone is aware that they do take an oath of office, and that whether you're jogging down the street and police officer tackles you and then violate your constitutional rights, to the DAs that prosecute, to the judges that also go through the whole system, they're pretty much immune through sovereign immunity all the way to the state level, and you can't even sue. And so I think that if more people realize kind of the oppression that is going on, I think more of an awakening would happen. I think we're getting close to that because it's no longer about national government coming into Texas. It's rather state and local government overreaching its boundaries. And you know, in the federal level, they can go to jail. If a citizen did anything like wrongfully imprison somebody, put them in their basement, let's say, the citizen would go to jail. If the state of Texas does that, nothing happens. There's no oversight. There are no consequences from almost every issue. Eminent domain, fluoride, everything that we talk about. So just kind of getting back to a grassroots effort, we think that will definitely help.
So for intellectual background on this, in addition to going to honorquest.org, you can go to Jon's website, constitution.org, and he has law there going back to ancient times. But yeah, we're going to raise awareness of the oath of office among the public, and particularly among the officials, those that we elect as our legislators. Raise awareness that this doctrine of sovereign immunity has been established. It really, properly, is would be better described as government impunity, and show how it is contrary to the oath of office. And so every legislature should want to see this corrected. And then we're going to lobby to get the doctrine of government impunity, what they refer to as sovereign immunity, removed from statutory and legislative and judicial protection. Mm-hmm. Any questions?
What are we doing, though? I mean, I'm not real clear. Is this something that we're doing at grassroots local level, or is it all going to be lobbying the state legislature, or what's the plan of attack?
It's going to be both.
It's going to be both. Yeah, we think this fits right in with TAG, with Texans for Accountable Government, and that's what it's all about. Is, you know, we can't all be watching all of our public servants all the time to hold them accountable. So we have a legislature that passes laws that's supposed to hold them accountable. The law is their boundary, but right now there is no boundary holding them within any account to our will as the people. So that's, you know, we're still developing plans of action. We'd love to have your input as to what you think we might want to do. We'd like to put together volunteers that would go and visit all of our legislators and ask them about their oath, and ask their staffers, are you aware of the oath? I've been to the legislature, I've talked to their staffers, and I've asked them, and they've said, no, I don't know anything about it. So that's one where to start. It's Section 1 of Article 16, Texas Constitution, and it says all elected and appointed officials. So anybody who's got an income, you know, being paid by us, the taxpayers, like a staffer in the legislator's office, they're bound by that oath.
And then, I mean, yeah, there is an educational campaign, but this is a big election year. So if you want to pick a candidate, that might be one of the requirements that you might want to ask if they're aware. Will they really hold it? And look at them for the next 2 years. Did they do just that? Or did they vote for something that was kind of murky and then got a judicial Supreme Court to say, oh yeah, that's okay now? That's not how the government was supposed to be run. The checks and balances are becoming less and less. And while this is becoming a PAC, we can also give money to candidates, regardless of party, who are supporting those ideals, and people like us.
Speaking of courts, I mean, because that's where they are going to be held accountable in any time they've done any infraction, ethically or if anything against the oath of office. The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court has an ethics violation pending for almost 6 years now. And they've seen other justices on the Supreme Court have ethics violations that have been heard since then, and no one will prosecute him for, there's a warrant of prosecution just for fear of what will happen to anyone that brings it against them. Nathan Heck's who I'm referring to, Robert Talton's the person running against him. And it's really interesting because no one knows their oath of office, but also no one realizes that the Supreme Court is the one.
And then when you have an attorney general that's becoming governor, nobody really wants to ruffle feathers. Once you have the system already in place, it's easier for the state to then say we're immune to everything because, well, they're all connected. And if we don't get that word out, I just feel that things will get worse. So that's what we're about.
John?
Well, let me add a few words here about how the situation came about.
Just be quick, okay?
The way the situation came about, mostly in the 19th century, at the point where previously most criminal prosecutions were done by private citizens, private lawyers, not public officials. They were called private prosecutions. Of course, they didn't even give them a name. That was taken for granted. It was only at the end of the 19th century that we began electing full-time professional prosecutors, district attorneys mainly, and U.S. attorneys appointed by the at the federal level to do the prosecutions. And for some time, there was a dual system. You could have it both ways. So if a public prosecutor didn't prosecute a public official for misconduct, you could still have a private person coming in, bypassing him, going directly to the grand jury and conducting a private prosecution of that corrupt official. Well, between about the 1890s and about 1940, the establishment pushed back until they got more and more courts to take the position that private prosecutors could not proceed. Now, it's still a law statute on the books here in Texas that a private prosecutor can not only replace a public prosecutor, a district attorney, but even get paid for it if funds are available. It's called a prosecutor pro tempore. But it's very, very difficult to get a judge to let anybody do that. So the only way that I see to roll this problem back is to restore the system of private criminal prosecutions, which automatically opens the grand jury to complaints from citizens. And in that way, between open grand juries and private prosecutors, we can begin to hold public officials accountable.
Jon Roland.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to add that Hays County, we've actually got a district attorney running that's going to open the door to the grand jury to private citizens. So that's a big one.
What's her name?
Lynn Peach.
Lynn Peach in Hays County. So if you have any friends in Hays County.
So if you're interested, visit our website and contact us, and like to have your help.
I noticed in the oath of office it said the Constitution and this state. Now, what they're going to try to tell you, what they don't tell you is this state does not refer to the state of Texas. It refers to this state, which is a creation, which is not, actually of the land itself of the state of Texas. So basically, they're just playing a game here, and they're going to say, if you say they have to obey the laws of the state of Texas, they're going to say, we obey the laws of this state. So, it's a word game, basically, is what it is.
And my name is Mary. Welcome, friends from Hays County. It's a pleasure to hear y'all speak Tuesday in San Marcos, hearing about fluoride issues. As somebody who runs around in the pro se community, jurisdictionary and all this stuff, a lot of folks talk that, when they're working with judges, they're wondering, hey, does this guy have his own? Where's your oath? So the most applicable situation that I see this in is in a court system, where all my friends doing pro se work cannot find the oath. Some people take it federal, all this stuff. And so one of our conspiracy theories, is that these judges are not taking the oath because because not having that oath protects them from treason. It's just a speculation.
All right, thank you guys, and thank you for taking the steps to create the organization, the PAC, Honorquest. I'm looking forward to seeing how that all develops and how we can help to further that cause. I'll just remind you that